I had sexual intercourse with my wife while I was fasting. He approached the Prophet and said, I had sexual intercourse with my wife while I was fasting. So the Prophet asked him that, can you manumit a slave? Can you free a slave? So he said no. Then the Prophet asks him that, can you fast for 2 consecutive months? Can you fast for 60 days together? So he said no. Then the Prophet asks him that, can you feed 60 poor people? The man replies, no. So then a person comes and gives a basket of date to the Prophet. The Prophet hands this over to the man and says that, give this to the poor people and that will be a kafara. So the man asks that, should I give to a person who's poorer than my family? Prophet says yes. So then the person says, I vow by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't know of any family which is poorer than my family between the 2 hills and mountains of Medina. So the Prophet smiles till his molar are seen and he says, give it to your family. So from this hadith we come to know that once a person breaks the fast, purposely by having a sexual intercourse with his wife, the first thing he should do is that he should compensate the fast as early as possible, but naturally before the next Ramadan. Number 2, he should give kafara. So from the hadith we come to know that there are 3 options given. Number 1 is he should free a slave, or number 2, he can fast consecutively for 60 days. Continuously he should fast for 60 days together without any break. Or he should feed 60 poor people. And most of the scholars agree that it is not he can choose any one of the 3. Some scholars say yes, he can choose any one of the 3. But the real ruling is he should try and do the first one, he should free a slave. If he cannot free a slave, then he should fast for 2 months consecutively, continuously. If he cannot do that, then the option is that he can feed 60 people. So this is as far as the kafar is concerned.
Jazakallah khair for that hadith you've cited there from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In order to answer that, very good. Does a person have to offer expiation for having sexual intercourse whilst he's doing a voluntary fast?
As far as voluntary fasts are concerned, there is no expiation if a person has sexual intercourse. The kafara that is there is only when a sexual intercourse is done during a fard fast, during the fast of Ramadan. That's the time it's fard. There's a hadith which is mentioned in Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 2, in the book of fasting, hadith number 2450, which is narrated by Hani, may Allah be pleased with her. She says that the Prophet gave water to drink